Hey adults, an irksome incident happened the other week that led to this video. I'm currently in the process of finding a new place to live, and I had set an appointment to go view this place, but my future roommate couldn't come, so I brought my friend with me. This friend has a unique name, and when I introduced her to the landlord, he said, "That's a strange name." I turned my head away in annoyance, and we went ahead with the house viewing. A couple hours later, that friend mentioned how messed up it was that that man had said that about her name, and I agree with her. That's what prompted this week's video. I'm here with this man, Jovan, to talk to you about how you're saying our names. Jovan and I have known each other for most of our lives. We went to elementary school together, high school together, and even the same university where we both studied music education. So it's pretty safe to say that you likely haven't heard my name, Kolea, and you probably haven't heard Jovan's either. So based on living our whole lives having unusual names, we're gonna give you some tips and tricks on how to not come off as a total ass when addressing us. Jovan, have you ever had someone ask you if they could call you something different because your name was just too hard to get right?
Yeah, people automatically assume that, Jovan, so they can say, oh, Jay, or Vaughn, or either just Joe. And again, I didn't give you permission to do that, so it's kind of like, where did that come from? So, if I was okay with you calling me any of those names, I would have volunteered the information first. But if I didn't give you that permission, then why are you calling me Joe or just calling me Vaughn or just Jay?
Yeah. Y'all, it is extremely offensive to request to call someone by something they don't identify with. So the answer is no. You may call us by our name and our name only unless we tell you otherwise. I don't actually really have a nickname. My name literally is Kolea. It's 3 syllables. It's 5 letters. Just call me by my name. All right.
If you're having difficulty pronouncing or remembering our names, then just ask us to help you. Believe me, when I say that, we love to hear our names being said correctly, the right way.
In 7th grade, I was kind of new to the neighborhood, and this one girl who I found myself befriending randomly said that my name sounded like cholera. For those of you who don't know, cholera is an intestinal infection people get from consuming contaminated food or water. People used to get it a lot before any type of plumbing existed because they were pooping in their drinking water. However, in many less developed countries, cholera is still a present issue. So yeah, she said my name sounded like cholera. Do you see how that would be offensive and gross? When someone said they remember my name by thinking of a ukulele or a Kahlua, I'm totally fine with that. And I love both of those things. Ukulele, great. Kahlua, even better. Not cholera. Okay?
Right.
Not cholera. So we really don't care if you have to think this name sounds like this when learning and recalling our name, but make sure it's not something nasty or offensive. Jovan, is there a story behind your name?
And just like what you're saying, like a lot of people, the people who do recognize my name, they realize that it's spelled exactly like the cologne.
It really is.
The cologne that's called Jovan is spelled the same exact way with the J, the O with the line over it, the capital V, the A, and the N. And so when people do recognize it, they're like, "Oh, like the cologne." I'm just like, "Okay, yes, exactly, just like the cologne, just like the cologne."
Yeah.
But yeah, behind the meaning behind my name, there's no story behind it. It's just my parents like the name, and my mom actually used the cologne or musk. I think that's what it's called, a musk or something called Jovan. And so she was like, "Oh, yeah, we'll spell it like this." There's no big, huge, story behind it. There's no, like I said before, there's no Lion King circle of life moment. I will call you, blah blah blah, and then the music comes on.
Oh, like
Anything
the
behind?
baby.
Right? There's nothing extremely great about it. It was just, I like the name. This is how we're gonna spell it. Bam.
Damn.
So.
Yeah, it's cool.
And when you ask us this, please know that not everybody's name has some lovely story. Like what I was just saying, there's no big Lion King moment with every story. Sometimes it's just something that our parents liked, and so therefore they named us those things. Sometimes people are saying, "Oh, that sounds exotic," and really, it's really nothing exotic about it. So, and sometimes we would try to keep from having to tell that story over and over and over again, so it won't be a big letdown when you hear this not so great story.
Yeah, my story is not so great, guys. It's really boring. So I've gotten backhanded compliments about my name. These are awful. Meaning people have actually commended me as if I had any control over how I was named by saying, "Oh, you have such a unique name that's not ghetto like all those other black people." Okay, well, first of all, there's no such thing as a ghetto name. Like, there's no, like, book you can buy of, like, ghetto names. Secondly, a compliment isn't a compliment if you literally are insulting my entire race. If you're saying all black people but not you, that's not a compliment. You're just showing how racist you are, so stop it. You're basically saying, no, you're not like the others. How lucky you are. Our names are such personal identifiers, and whether our names have some great story attached to them or just sound nice, we'd like to be shown the same reverence when being addressed that people with common names have. So stick all these tips in your name pronouncing tool belt, and when you come across someone who has a name you've never heard before, remember to respect it by saying it correctly and not mentioning intestinal infections. That's all for this week, y'all. Subscribe and share. Have fun adulting. Bye.